Hi Donna, welcome to our global tasting tour. This leg of the journey is on plant-based cheddar cheese. So just to give you some background, we have initiated a global tasting tour with the first journey beginning with cheddar, and we will tell you about a sneak peek for the next leg of the journey as we move through the presentation. You might be wondering why we decided, excuse me, to start with plant-based cheddar, and there's two kind of areas that we looked at, and one is internal. So within Edlong, cheddar is one of the most popular cheeses we get asked for on a regular basis in terms of profile, but it's also the one that people will go, give us your best cheddar. And that's like going, give me a yellow paint. And we all know there's so many different colors and shades of yellow. So with cheddar, we thought doing something like this would give us an opportunity to help our customers articulate their needs in a more specific way so we can turn around projects faster for them. Next slide. So those were our internal reasons for looking at cheddar. Externally, what we found is that cheddar is still one of the most popular launches globally in terms of plant-based cheeses and comfort foods in general. So cheddar is just the dominant profile to date. So the other thing to note is plant-based protein. It's within plant-based cheese at the moment, there is a need for an increased level of protein. And we thought this was a good opportunity to just discuss with our customers their interest in this space. While the demo doesn't contain protein at this point, we are working on demos that contain that. So we wanted to make sure those are tailored to the customer, and this is a great opportunity to get the voice of our customer. Currently, protein in plant-based cheese sits around 2%, and that's mainly made up as you can see, potato protein. But there is a growing trend towards pea protein because of its availability. Chickpea protein and blends of pea and rice protein are becoming more popular from a nutritional standpoint because it has a complete amino acid profile. So we found that through doing this journey, we've gotten a lot of focus or a lot of information back from our customers on what kind of proteins we should be focusing on for our next generation type of demos. So as we all know, there are many, many challenges in plant-based cheese. I'm sure many of which you came across during your time this week tasting. One of the main ones we've come across are off notes from the variety of plant ingredients. They're new, they're emerging, they contain bitterness, grittiness. It's a multitude of different factors that just make it less desirable to eat. Less creamy or fatty mouthfeel, coming to the fact that we're used to dairy fat in our cheese products as opposed to plant-based fats, which can often be waxy or mouth coating and just leave you with that undesired aftertaste. And then the overall effects of processing. You're combining multiple ingredients to try and get a replicant of something that is a naturally occurring product for all the world. So these factors play a massive role in what your end product tastes like and how your consumers see it and whether they're likely to repurchase, which is the key to a successful launch. So by doing this, we have our sensory expert, and we'll hear from Julie later on, but we have found there's multiple different notes that occur within cheese. It's a complex product, and replicating that in plant-based cheese means we want to help our customers articulate those notes. Not always use the language we know, but let us understand how they describe things and we can all get on the same page. So part of this is just understanding what they mean when they say baby puke or, buttery or fruity, and getting a common language that we know we can use to then give them exactly what they're looking for. So now we're going to get you to taste. The first one in our journey is the United Arab Emirates.
Okay.
Now, being Irish, I know we spoke about cheese and wine going well together, and it is later in the day for me. But I don't know if you know this, in the United Arab Emirates, where like alcohol isn't as huge as it is in the rest of the Western world, they actually do their tastings with tea or coffee.
Really?
Yeah, because it's a much more complex beverage. So they find cheeses that pair well with a certain type of coffee or a certain type of tea, and that's how they do their pairings.
The buttery taste profile definitely comes through, and it's very clean.
Good.
Salty, buttery. I know it says mild animal notes. I would actually just call that dairy notes. I mean, I feel like it's a little.
Yes.
But I'm not saying barnyard in a negative way, but that dairy almost like, yeah. But the buttery, and it's very good. So I don't get any medicinal or chemical off notes. So very good.
So we used a combination of flavors here to build up and create a more complex profile. What's funny is in the United Arab Emirates and any customers we've worked with in that space, they will often ask for, oh, we want a real cheesy cheese. And we send them cheese and they're like, this isn't cheese. And you send them maybe a butter or a processed flavor. And that's what resonates with that market more, because due to the high temperatures, a lot of their products come in tins and are shelf stable, as opposed to what we know as typical cheddar, which is a block that you might get from your deli or prepackaged something that you shred.
So they're more familiar with really processed type style cheeses, which is very good. I mean, to plant-based fits into that sector quite easily. This is very good. I'm going to actually save it for later. Very good.
I'll hand you over to Julie, who's going to talk you through some of the sensory work that was done on this piece.
Okay.
Yeah, so we had our trained descriptive analysis panel evaluate these so we could kind of understand, you know, the difference in profiles between the different countries and making sure that we were hitting on those attributes that we wanted to represent for the different countries. So just like you said, this one was butter up front for sure. So we wanted to mimic that like processed cheese, more of like a mild cheddar type character in this one. So we agreed the butter was the predominant attribute here.
Yeah, it's very good.
So next up is Canada. So if you'd like to grab your labeled pack that has Canada on it.
Okay, so I don't want to know what it says that it should taste like, so let me do it myself.
We'll stay here, so no jumping, Jessa.
That's the true way to do it, right?
Yeah. Well, I would say it has a more milky taste to it. I almost want to say curd, like a curd taste. It makes me actually think of fresh cheese curds. So it has a fresh dairy taste to it. Those butter notes are definitely not in there like the other one. Let me try a little more. And I guess slightly aged, I'm just saying, right while I'm saying fresh curd, it finishes almost with a little bit of a mature taste. So yeah, I would say a mild cheddar.
Excellent. Your taste buds don't do you wrong.
Oh, good.
So again, this is a blend of flavors used to, again, what we call flavor layering. You want to build up a more complex profile because you're working with something that's so plain and doesn't have any complexity. Right. And you want to create the complexity within the profile. So we use flavor layering. So here we did use a butter. Now, what we find is butter is a really good agent for helping with the mouthfeel so that it's not got that typical vegetable fat taste in the mouth.
Yeah.
Combining it with the process gives you those kind of what I would call more the savory background notes. And then you build on that with your cheddar on top. So you're getting the aged notes.
And that yeasty flavor actually is probably or the cooked flavor, it's that curdy taste that I was thinking of, like that fresh curd when you get it right off the, out of the vat. That's that cooked milky taste. So yeah, okay.
Excellent. Julie, if you want to.
Yeah, so yeah, we again agree. The cooked milk note, that we saw that a little bit higher in this one as well. We were also getting kind of a toasted character and a little bit more yeasty. So that could be like the savory finish that's making you think of more of like a medium cheddar.
Yeah.
And we did get some buttery notes in this one, but agree it's a little bit less than the United Arab Emirates.
Yeah, probably if I had not tasted that first one, which is so buttery, I probably would have picked up the buttery notes in the second one, but it's so, quite a different extreme that it wasn't as noticeable to me. So,
right.
But very good.
Good. So now we're on to Mexico.
Okay.
So if you would like to grab that one.
Got it. using a different knife for each one. I'm making sure I
No
follow.
contamination there.
Oh. Well, I want to say it's more pungent. I almost feel like it has some slight blue notes to it. Not buttery at all to me, that's for sure. Yeah, all right, well, tell me. It's definitely different than the other two, but like I say, I almost feel like it has some pungent blue notes to it.
It's very different. So this one, we took some of our expertise from our Mexican colleagues and used queso cremas. So the queso crema is in there to build that clean background, and it gives you a real creamy richness to the back notes. And the queso type flavor then is carrying some of those, what you're referring to as the blue notes. It's a little bit animal-y. It's a little bit different to everything else because it has much more of a cheesy but animal effect.
Yeah,
and then we layered up with the mature cheese on top.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I guess animal, but that fruity also is kind of like a fruity cheese is a pungent cheese, I guess, is what I would say. So yeah, okay, yeah, definitely. I'm on board there with that. And when you said that the queso in the mouthfeel, I can feel it. Like this was out of the three, this is the only one that I feel like is still lingering in my mouth a little bit with some mouthfeel and that creaminess. So the flavor is doing the job of not just flavoring, but also providing that the coating in the mouth. So yeah, very different.
Very different, yes. Julie?
Yep, and then the descriptive, yeah, we called it a fruitiness. So that's probably like the kind of blue note you're getting, and butyric is definitely, gives you that like pungency, a stronger cheese. And we did get animal notes in this one as well.
I just need a cerveza and some chips with that one.
I think what's amazing though is the differences, right? So that's really exciting to see how different these are in the same base and what the flavor's doing, not just for flavor, but mouthfeel too. So you're picking up on all of that.
So all five of them on the exact same base, just a difference of the flavors and the concentrates that you're adding. And again, some of them are contributing to the mouthfeel and even the texture of the product. So yeah, very interesting and all very good. So,
and even the aftertaste. And you'll see when we get to the end of the journey, the only difference that we have is while the first four contain a powder lactic acid, which is a lesser strength, for the UK one, we did use a liquid lactic because it resonates more with the type of profile you need for that area.
Okay. And I take it that's the next one?
No, you're jumping ahead. We're only on to the USA. Home territory.
Sorry. All right.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you want to grab that one and have a taste.
Yep. Well, it tastes most like a cheddar that I'm used to. So I guess that would make sense considering I'm in the US. And then this is just perspective, obviously, because to me, this is what cheddar should taste like. But I'm going to say it's just a more well-rounded and balanced cheddar. I pick a little bit of notes. I'd say there's definitely a little bit of butter, a little bit of mouthfeel. I feel like I'm getting some toasted or roasted in it as well, too. But yeah, to me, it tastes like cheddar cheese or cheddar style cheese, put it that way. So that would make sense. So, all right. So
taste buds are on fire is what I'm going to say. So you said mouthfeel, and the queso crema is used in this again. The butter is used in this again. Yeah. And then we built in much more of a complex cheese profile on top of it using multiple cheddar flavors. So I think what do you think, Julie? Pretty good taster?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that savory background, that would be what I was actually thinking of, more like the toasted or roastedness. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So nice job.
Yeah. So we agree. Yeast, we did get some toasted in this one as well. And then we had some butter, butyric. They were all kind of pretty balanced in this one, which is what you were picking up on, like the more medium to, kind of getting into that more mature type cheddar.
So, okay.
Now, I know I'm biased, but we are going to the home of cheddar next, so we're on to the UK.
And you're allowed to be biased.
And I say that as an Irish person, not a UK person. So.
And
even between England and Ireland, we find huge differences in our cheddar. So.
Oh, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, I like it better than the US one. So
very good.
I'm saying all the right answers here. Let me just
we'll keep you, Donna.
I think the initial notes, I'd say salty and sweet. I don't think I picked up sweet in the other ones as much. I feel like there's some upfront, the salty and sweet, and then it becomes more animal, a little bit barnyardy. I'm not really picking up yeast, but it might be getting buffered with other flavors. And then it's ending with some butter as well, too.
Okay.
Am I okay with this one?
No, you are. And do you know what? It's a really interesting one because we've had some customers taste these as well, both from the UK and from the US. And again, sweetness is a key part of a UK profile. It is a very inherent piece of it. And it's great that you're picking it up because we try and be as authentic as possible. And it's actually in this, we're using a buttercream flavor that is helping with the mouthfeel, the creaminess, but bringing some of that kind of sweet notes as well to make it a bit more authentic to the UK region. We have similar cheddar flavors being used here, but it's the combination and the usage levels being tweaked because you'll see throughout each of the samples that we've seen, there's a variance in the usage level and the effect that can have and the complexity it can bring when you balance it with other flavors is huge.
Right.
And I think that's the expertise that our team bring in creating these profiles and making them as authentic as possible.
Yeah, no, this was, and the buttercream, now that you say that it ends that way, I feel. And again, with even a little bit of mouthfeel, but that salt and that sweet kick at first is interesting. So, and good. So.
Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, so this was what we considered kind of our most mature cheddar.
Okay.
So we did get a little bit more of the yeasty, fruity, butyric notes with the animal coming through, and an increased perception of sour. And that might be like the way the sour hits because it is a different type of acid that's being used, and that might affect the sweet salt perception too.
Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely an upfront, but a good cheesy taste. So this is going to be the most mature out of all of them that we had. Wow, how very different. I almost want to go back, if I may, to the first one, the really buttery one, and just to see how different they are again. Wow. You guys did a really good job. I mean, even the second one, I'm sorry, the UK one, which you're saying now is a more mature one, and almost like it ends that way in your mouth. I mean, I realize that their carriers are all the same, but the impact on the carrier, it's more crumbly, the UK one, whereas I feel like the first one, almost more spreadable, creamy, like a spread. So the flavors definitely have an impact on the texture, knowing that all 5 of them are the exact same base.
Right.
So,
well, we try to really replicate how the flavors release. So, when you eat a piece of cheese and it breaks down in your mouth and you get the notes coming in a certain order. And every time you eat a different piece of cheese, you get a different release of flavor as you chew it. That's part of the experience that we really try and take note of. And Julie has done a lot of sensory work on ensuring that the balance of the flavor comes down to not just getting the notes right, but how they release within the product as you chew it.
Well, without a doubt, they all, the change of the flavor, like you're saying, the flavor release as I'm eating it, and then actually done with it, and even have the glass of water, it's a different flavor for all 5 of them. So you guys did a really great job on this. There's a lot of folks, I think, who could really use your assistance out there right now.
Shout it loud, Donna.
That's good to hear. Yeah.
Yeah, but very, very good. You know, I have to say, I mean, it's back in the day, like, oh gosh, when I worked at Kraft in the 90s, that was during the fat-free craze. So as you can imagine, and I was working on fat-free cheese. Flavors were critical to put into those fat-free cheeses, just as they're critical to be putting into these plant-based. I mean, there was no flavor development in a fat-free cheese. And I just remember how like chemical and medicinal, like nasally, like it could come through the flavors with the impact. And because they were fat-free, it hit you. You know, it wasn't like it mellowed out and carried through. And, you know, this kind of, your science has come such a long way, because, I mean, we obviously tried everything back then, and well, there's a reason why there's no fat-free cheese in the market. But yeah, no, you guys did a great job. This is really good stuff.
Yeah.
So next time you can send bigger pieces.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I guess that's resounding when somebody wants more. That's always a good sign, right?
So yes, very good. So
Donna, while we have you, we'll give you a sneak peek to the next leg of our journey, and we can caramel.
Ooh.
Yes. So
we'll
it
have
might
to make
be
sure
something.
Donna gets 2. We'll try and do a double
Absolutely.
pack for Donna on the next one for caramels.
Extras. I've actually been tasting some here myself today, and when we started looking at vegan caramel, it wasn't exactly something I thought we'd be very excited to eat, if I'm honest. And I have to commend the work that's been done in the labs, because the flavors are just amazing. I'm quite excited about it. And I think what's really interesting as well is the high temperatures you have to cook caramel. And we learned so much. Did you know the weather can affect how you make your caramel?
Did not know that.
Yeah.
What kind of weather
a lot
is
of rain
good?
in Ireland. You want dry weather.
Oh, because if it's too moist in
The humidity.
yeah.
So
that's interesting.
Yeah, we've had a fun time and learned lots. But what's great is our flavors are so heat stable. They're withstanding temperatures of 120 degrees C during processing. So it's a very exciting journey, and we will be happy to have you as part of it.
Well, thank you. I would look forward to it. Is it going to take a similar approach as to the cheese, with a global overview of how we all perceive or, enjoy caramel?
Yes.
Okay.
So maybe not the same countries, as we need to shake it up a little bit. But yeah, we'll have a selection from around the world for you to try.
Wonderful. I look forward to it.
Excellent.
So
Thank you very much.
Thank you.